Hello and welcome back to some more PSGL highlights. Now, if you saw my last video, you would have seen that I'm not racing F1 in Mexico. So I thought I'd bring highlights of another league. This is the FP, Realistic Performance League, around Mexico that's on a Tuesday. So I thought I'd bring highlights of that instead. And as you can see, we've been slammed into the lovely Williams. The worst car on the grid. I didn't bother doing any qualifying because it's more fun at the back, and yeah, it's nothing serious. So just thought I'd have a run in this league and see what the realistic cars are like. Because I know on the old game, I quite like doing the realistic performance leagues. Actually, I did the FPCC and that was really fun. So we shall see how it goes in this one. But lining up then, as most people will know, the strategy more than likely. We're going to be going for a medium, soft strategy. But we're going to build up straight away, all the way to the 5 red lights now. As they go out, can we get a good start in this Williams? The answer is average. Racing point alongside gets a much better start, but yeah, we've got no straight line speed, so there's not really any threats going into the first corner at all. You can already see everyone's pulled away. But we've got past one of the Mercedes that's in 17th, and we're just going to take it easy into the first sector. As you can see, it's a bit of carnage. Yeah, just trying to keep our front wing intact and see where we go. The Renault alongside has got a bit of damage. There's some cars from the inside, and we continue on. So up to P13 already, which is a very good start. I wasn't sure where I was going to end up, to be honest. I did do the USA race around here. Well, USA race in this league, as the two cars go off on the inside, including our Williams teammate. But yeah, I did the USA race, and I can't lie, this car was absolutely horrendous. USA obviously is a soft medium strategy. I started on fresh mediums and I literally couldn't do it. Like, the tyre wear was that bad that it was just impossible to do. And yeah, it was alright on one lap pace, this Williams, but in the race, the tyre wear was just so much that it was just impossible. And I was sort of expecting the same thing here, but we'll have to see whether that happens or not. But up to P11 now, and I'm not going to lie, at this point, the car was feeling quite nice. This is obviously the first real laps I've done of Mexico at all, because it happens on a Tuesday the week before the F1 race. So yeah, there's no like practice really going into it, and you can't really practice in the Williams, it'll be disgusting. So yeah, P11 then going on to lap 2. We've got Greeny in front in the Alpha. I just wanted to sit behind him because I just assumed he would be quicker, but as you'll be able to see going through the exit here, here's a rubbish exit. We take this opportunity to put it into overtake, try and use some of this OP Williams straight line speed, which he doesn't really have any of. And we go around the outside of the Alfa Romeo. I know he's got a Ferrari engine. Now, the Ferrari engine, to my surprise actually, is really, really bad. I know it is in real life, but I didn't realise they'd put it into the game so much. But yeah, I think the Williams actually is slightly quicker than the Alfa in a straight line anyway. So we're through then. With the P10 at this point, I was like, not entirely sure if I was going to stick with the cars ahead. Because this, yeah, as I said, I'm used to the Williams being quite bad in its tyre wear, but big of a first warning, which is quite crucial actually, because Mexico is very bad for penalties and warnings. Really, it's just so difficult to get. Yeah, because the corner cut a lot and it's a bit of a mess. But anyway, we move on. We've actually caught up to the AlphaTauri slightly, but we just need to really stick with the DRS. DRS at the end of this lap then, so we'll try and stick with. We'll move on to lap 3 then. We have done that. We have actually caught the AlphaTauri very slightly. I think he's getting held by CC Brain in the other Alpha, which, as I said before, the Alpha, not particularly great. It was very good on the last game, but on this game, it's probably only a few tenths quicker than the Williams, if anything, so it's quite a slow one. And he's also on the medium tyres, so I'd like to think we'd have a bit of a pace advantage, but the AlphaTauri does overtake CC Brain, and hopefully, soon enough, we shall potentially be able to do the same. That's if he loses DRS. It'll make it a lot easier on this back straight. But as you know, it's no different. Even though obviously the cars are realistic and they've got different engine performances, it is still very hard to overtake when they've got DRS. So it will be a challenge. But PR1 Will in the Haas, he was quite high up, and I think he's disconnected now, so that's not ideal for him. But we move on to lap 6, and CC Brain, yeah, he has lost the DRS to the AlphaTauri. So it should, as long as we can get close in this last sector, we should be able to make a move relatively easily with any luck. So come close. The DRS zone's about there, I think, DRS detection point. So we should be well in it. We use a bit of overtake at this last corner. We'll see what the straight line speed's like in the Williams. We're going to use quite a bit of it, but yeah, with the DRS down here, as I said, the Alfa Romeo is quite slow in a straight line. You can see breeze past nice and easy up into P7 now. I think a couple of cars have actually pit from the front, but I was quite amazed actually to be P7. I think in that USA race I finished 9th or 10th. I couldn't even catch the Alfa Romeos in the last race, so it's quite a surprise. And the tyre wear surprisingly wasn't too bad. The car was feeling quite nice. I adapted the setup quite a lot because basically this Williams has absolutely no rear end at all. So I found that if I can make the rear end stable, it's actually not a bad car to drive, honestly. Just about setting it up for the cars, especially in the realistic performance league. You've got to make sure your setup works for that car. But we skipped a long way now into this race. We're just going to be following 3 gloves in the AlphaTauri round on lap 14. Now we're going to pit next lap. I think the AlphaTauri is going to peel us into pits this lap. Indeed, he does. And we've got Cherry 2 Pi, who is the net race leader behind. We're not going to fight him. We're just going to let him through, and hopefully he can pull us along for our in lap. I'd expect, that 3 gloves should pull probably a second on us, to be honest, with the undercut. But I'd like the fresher tyres on the soft. So we're going to let the 2 leaders go. They're obviously a lot quicker, and there's no point in fighting. But I don't know what the tyre was like at this point. The tyres didn't feel too bad, honestly. But I think when we do look on the tyre indicator, I think they're around 70% now on lap 15. Not entirely sure what they would be in a equal car, but it's not too bad. It's not as bad as it was in USA anyway. So we're going to follow these around now. We need a decent in lap, obviously, to try and make it easier for us when we come out of the pits. If we can stick within the DRS of the AlphaTauri, then we're looking good. The AlphaTauri was quite quick. We were just about keeping with him, and he was pulling us on quite nicely, save some ERS. But this middle section, then you can just see the cars ahead have so much more grip. There's so much understeer in this Williams. It's just absolutely insane. But we've got quite a lot of ERS as well. Actually, 75%, probably 80% by the time we get to the end of this final sector. So we should come out of the pits relatively full, and should be able to mount an attack. We're on the soft compound tyre when we come out of the pits, and I believe the majority of the runners should be on the medium. Sorry, so we should have an advantage. Obviously, the car's not going to help, but let's see if we can get into the top 5. That would be ideal. But first of all, we need to see where we're going to come out of the pit lane. You can see the AlphaTauri going around the final corner now, and I'd obviously expect him with the undercut on the soft tyres to absolutely be miles ahead. But as long as we are behind and there's no one else in between, then we should be okay. Indeed, we do. We've got a pretty comfortable gap to Game Freaker behind. It's about a 2-second gap then, so he's probably undercut us by, 1.5 seconds? Something like that. So we'll see. I wasn't sure whether I'd catch or not, but we'll keep pushing, and we shall see what happens as we skip on in a second to lap 17. We've gone purple in the middle sector, and as you can see, we have actually caught them. I think he is stuck behind a couple of people at the moment, which is probably not helpful. But I thought I was going to do the fastest lap there. I was getting quite excited, but apparently not. We lost a bit of time in the last sector, but you see very far ahead in the distance, that 3 gloves in the AlphaTauri is very close to the McLaren now, and I assume with his superior tyre grip he should be able to get past him relatively easily as we skate through the first sector. There we go. He goes around the outside then, and it should be a relatively easy move for him into turn something. Now what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4? Turn 4? Turn 5? Either or. Anyway, he's through, and it's now our job to get onto the back of the McLaren. 1.1 seconds now. DRS zone coming up in about 3 corners time, but we should hopefully be in the DRS, and indeed we do. We're already in, and you can just see from the grip we have, we catch him very quickly, and it should be a relatively simple move. He's going to be out of the DRS, I think, of 3 gloves in front by the time we get to the DRS zone. So again, just follow nice and closely through this stadium section. Try not to hit him, as we seem to have a lot more pace at this stage, but it's just a waiting game. Come out the final corner, and it should be relatively simple move. We're going to use a bit of the battery, just because this car is quite slow in the straight line, but with the DRS, I'm going to pull alongside. It should be an easy move, although that McLaren is quite quick in the straight line. think if we didn't have DRS, he would just fly ahead, but there was a bit of lag there, so I'm not entirely sure whether that was accurate or not. But anyway, 1.3 now behind 3 goals, 1.2, 1. We're getting quite a lot in that mid chicane, and with the DRS, that should help us catch up even more, and indeed it does. All the way to lap 21 then, so 3 laps later, and we're right on the back of the AlphaTauri now. I was really surprised at the pace we had, and we should. I'd like to say we could have a challenge here. We've got a fair bit of battery. We're fairly close. If you use a fair bit of the battery, we should be able to make an overtake work here. So we should see. We're in the slipstream, pulls the inside. He doesn't defend it, which is quite nice. And we do get up into P6 now. 2.3 seconds to the Ferrari ahead, and then AMS is 4.6 seconds clear of him. So I think P4 definitely has a potential. It depends on the penalties of the guys in front. I know the front two, I just saw in the first stint, are absolutely miles ahead, so they might be out of the question. But we skip, 3 laps later? The AlphaTauri behind us goes into the pit lane, so he's going to undercut us once again, but it's going to be quite a long stint for him on the final set of tyres. I think it's going to be, 12 laps, so it's going to be quite long for him, but we are in the slipstream of the Ferrari. You can see how slow it is in a straight line. He's got no ERS at all. We're going to have a little look up the inside. It wasn't close enough, so we're going to back out. We're going to take a nice sort of wide line into the chicane. We're going to get very close on the exit, and he's got no battery, so he shouldn't really be able to defend it. He just goes to the inside, but with a bit of lag as well. But we're going to go around the outside, easy around the outside. He sticks his nose up the inside slightly, but yeah, we are ahead and through. And it's now the McLaren. I think that's as high as we'll probably be able to get in this race. The McLaren 1.7 seconds ahead, but I believe he probably will pit this lap, or he'll pit next lap. And the tyre advantages we have, obviously, from the soft to the medium will be gone, so I'd assume it'd be quite hard to overtake and catch the McLaren once he's on the same compound as us, but we shall see. We're going to pit this lap as well. I assume once again the AlphaTauri will undercut us, but as you saw the pace in the last stint, I was quite confident we could probably get past again, so yeah, just a nice in lap then. We have actually caught AMS in the McLaren quite a bit, 1.3 seconds, 1.2 seconds as we come into the pit lane. Get slowed down for the marks, and we'll see what the outcome is going to be. So we'll look on the minimap once again. We can see the AlphaTauri. He's in clean air, so yeah, he will undercut us. He's coming through the stadium now. If we can get a decent pit stop from the Williams, and we should come out behind AMS in the McLaren. But we come out inside him, which is interesting. Not entirely sure what that's all about, but nice game. And you'll be able to see on the left-hand side now, the AlphaTauri goes through. Is he going to get past AMS as well? It's quite close, and he does do that. So that's sort of good for us. I assume AMS will have quite a lot of pace, and hopefully the AlphaTauri can hold him up relatively, and we hopefully don't let him pass. But you'll see when we skip to lap 27 now, you'll see as both the cars absolutely fly off into the distance with their OP straight line speeds. You should see the McLaren going up the inside of the AlphaTauri and just head before the braking zone, and that is a position for him. So I'd assume he'd be gone at this point. I don't think we'll see him much the rest of this race, but we definitely have a chance of P5 then. On the back of the AlphaTauri, and we skip on to lap 28, we have caught up to the back of him. We're going to try and make a move down this next straight. If we can set up the chicane right, which we do quite nicely, up into overtake. DRS is engaged, and he does defend it, but we're going to go around the outside. There's not really much he can do to defend it. I'm going to be up into P5 then, and that is a nice move. So at this point onwards, I was fairly confident I'd pull away from the AlphaTauri behind and try and see if we can overtake or catch even the McLaren ahead. But 1.5 seconds, it was going to take some doing, I can tell you that much. He has the fastest lap of the race at this point, and that McLaren is very quick, and AMS isn't too shabby himself, so we'll see what we can do. And we're just going to skip now on to lap 29, one lap later. The gaps pretty much stay the same, so we've been driving quite well, but Game Freak is retired now in the middle sector, and we do have a safety car, and that will definitely spices things up a bit. I know now I can tell you that the top 3 all have penalties, corner cut penalties. And at this point, I'm not going to lie, I was thinking, you know something here, there's a chance for a win, or at least like a P2. with AMS in front not having a penalty either. But we do make a decision here. Now, do we pit or do we stay out? We're going to pit purely based on the fact that we're only going to lose one position from this pit stop. And it's a relatively free pit stop. The Red Bull in front has the same idea. AMS stays out, the Alpha Tauri stays out, and we're going to come in for a fresh set of softs, although what I assumed to be a fresh set of softs when we come out the pits, it turned out to be the quali set. So in hindsight, and as you'll see at the end of this race, it probably was the best idea not to pit. It's only gave me like 10% tyre wear, and I think I'd rather have the 2 positions up. I think I'd be P4 at this point rather than P6, so probably would have been worth staying out. But there's opportunities in these last 3 laps. Then we've got the cars ahead with penalties, and if we can maybe move forward slightly, there's a very, very good chance we could potentially go from last to first in this race. But we'll see. Coming on to the start then of lap 34, it's a 3-lap dash to the end of the race. I'm going to use a bit of the overtake, but I think we turn it off quite early because there's no chance of us getting anything down the straight. They're just too quick. Going to hope they burn it off and we can use as in some sort of attack. But annoyingly, the 2 leaders are absolutely shot off already. I think AMS in P3 has some sort of issue, and I think he's actually disconnected, which is not ideal. Well, not ideal for him, but it's good for us. We can get free position. But you can see the Red Bull here. He goes very early, and nearly actually hit him into turn 4 there. That was a very close. It would have been nice to overtake him there. It was very close. But unfortunately not. And you can see, I don't know what's going on here, but the AlphaTauri seemed to take forever to overtake AMS, his disconnected car. And you can see on the minimap, look how far ahead the front 2 are after just the restart. And I mean, this is where I was going back to if I'd not picked. If I'd not picked, I'd have been ahead of these guys. And I'd like to think I wouldn't have lost that much time to them on the restart. But it is what it is. And unfortunately, bit of an anti-climax in the end. But we're still in P5 on the last lap. There wasn't really anything I could do. I just didn't have the straight line speed to get past. And they were very close the whole race. So we're going to come around the final corner then. Where's it going to be on track on penalties? The front 2 are absolutely miles ahead. We're going to come across the line, and it's going to be P3 in the end. I was quite annoyed actually at that, but last to P3 isn't bad considering we're in a realistic Williams. But the AlphaTauri that we kept overtaking every stint annoyingly did beat us. Again, sort of proving the point that if we'd have not pit, then I'd like to say if we'd not pit, we probably would have won that race. He only finished 1.7 seconds behind the lead in the end, and I'd like to say, I had a bit of better pace, but it is what it is, and it was a fun race. I do like driving in these performance cars, just purely based on the fact that it's a bit different, and it's more about the racecraft rather than just the average race where you just slipstream train the entire time. And it does add some variety into your racing, so it's nice, and it's a good way of I'd like to say sharpening up on your racecraft skills. More than anything, but I do recommend it if anyone interested. The FP League is quite fun. But that's it for this one then. P3 from P18 on the grid with a 3-stop strategy. Ideally the 2-stop would have worked better, but hopefully I'd like to do the next 2 races left in the season, Abu Dhabi and Japan, but I'm only reserved, so we'll have to see what the outcome of that is. But that is these highlights then. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.